What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Hippo Supercoach, and today we're going to be discussing my round 3 score, my round 3 ranking, and my round 4 trades. So, spoiler alert, as you can see by the title, I'm bringing in Jack STEELE, I believe. I'm going to show you guys my trades, and then we're going to, we've got to get through a fair bit before we get to that. I'm not going to go through all the games individually like I usually do, mostly because I can't be bothered, and secondly because I think it's just a nice round review when I'm just going through my team alone. So let's get into it. Nick Dacos, 112. This is something I'm a little bit concerned about. Obviously, we know he has Finn McGuinness the next round, and then the bye, and his form's just not quite there. He's still scoring okay, besides last week, but his form's just not what he was last year. People are thinking maybe a niggle injury, and I think definitely possible. It's a possibility because it just doesn't look right. It doesn't seem as hungry for the ball as he was last year, even in the first 2 games. So yeah, I think I'll hold him just because there's so many other problems in my team. I don't have the luxury to be able to trade someone like Nick Dacos. I've got to focus on getting in big dogs like Green, Ryan, Heaney, Steele, Took. So I don't really have the luxury to trade out Nick Dacos at this point. But if you do, then trading him I think it's a viable choice. Sheasel 128, not much to say about him. He's just a gun, absolute gun. He's the general of that North defence. Plenty of cheap ball. He's a great user of the ball, and yeah, lots of kick-ins. Just a perfect halfback or a perfect defender for our teams. If you don't have him, I think get him in as soon as possible. So Elliot Yeo got a little bit cooked by champion data. Had the 82 Supercoach, and I think he had like 100 and something fantasy. So this is annoying, but I'm not going to trade him out. I think he's been really good. Obviously 96, it's an okay average. It's not amazing, but I only paid $4.40 for him, so hoping he can average a ton on the year, and then maybe be like a D6 or D7 come the end of the year. I think we will have to move him on eventually, but like I said, I have so many bigger problems at this point that trading out Yo is not even remotely high on the priority list. Then we got D'Ambrosio, so brought him in this week, 68, so I'm not unhappy about it, but I'm not thrilled with it. It was on the field, obviously, and his break-even is 13, so probably going to make only 25k-ish next week if he scores 70. It's pretty average. I don't think we're going to get too much money making out of him unless we see another big ton, but to be fair, the conditions didn't really suit him, and the role was not good at all. So the role, he was playing wing and half forward for a lot of that game. Trust as soon as we bring him in, Sam Mitchell to fuck me over, seriously. But hopefully we see him back in the back line. I think when Morrison came on, he moved back to the defense, but still couldn't really find much of the ball, which is, it was frustrating. But like I said, that was not the sort of game, it's not the sort of last quarter where he would score very well. He's a classy sort of ball user, I tell you what, he has very, very nice kicking action. Watching him is, it's very smooth. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but yeah. Zach Williams, 70, so he's one we'll probably have to move on relatively soon, but at this point I'm just going to hold. And then Blake Howes, one I'm pretty keen on moving off. 26 is just unacceptable. Break even of 30, so yeah. You could give him one more week, I guess, but I won't be. I need to make aggressive moves. So Bont played a lot of full forward, very friggin' annoying. Had him as a captain, so Luke Beveridge, suck my fucking dick, you prick. Seriously, I hate him. I don't think I could hate him anymore, but I do. And yeah, so it looks like McRae might have affected Bont's CBA mix a bit. I don't know. Yeah, it's annoying. Maybe just resting there for a week, just because it was obviously playing West Coast, and Bont was coming off a bit of an ankle injury, like a small ankle injury. So I see the logic behind it, but it's fucking frustrating Supercoach-wise. Butters 98, don't know what happened to him, just had a terrible first quarter where he couldn't get near the ball, and then he played fine from the rest of the game. Went missing when it really mattered in the last 5 minutes. But yeah, I'm just annoyed about both my VC and C just not paying off, and I went Gorn C last week for a 110, and this week he goes 177, so it's frustrating, but I still back Butters in to be good. Obviously, just one down game. Matt Crouch 110. So yeah, it's been an unreal pick for the price. Very happy with him. Nick Martin 136. Very happy I held. I wish I had held Hewitt and Young, but yeah, held Nick Martin and got rewarded for it. So don't know how consistent he's going to be at this point, but we all know how good the role is. I think Brad Scott's came out and said something about they love the way he defends. I think that's the biggest load of shit I may have ever heard. I didn't see him defend anyone. And I was watching him like a hawk on the weekend, and I've watched him pretty closely every other game. He does not play defense. And when he does, he's just like 20 metres off his man and then just like sort of jogs back to try and get on him. And yeah, there's no defense. Don't kid us. You want him to play that offensive defensive role. I think maybe that's like a smokescreen for taggers to maybe say, oh, look, he's playing defense. We're not going to need to tag him. He's not just an offensive player, maybe. I don't know. But it's bullshit. Don't believe that. Ollie Wines, 96. I think he has to go just because he's clogging up that mid slot that is quite valuable at this point. And like I said, I need to be aggressive. I need to get some big dogs in because I need to get Heaney after his bye. I do think anyone that doesn't have Heaney right now, I don't think it's worth bringing him in, personally, because we've held off this long. We may as well hold off one more week. I know he plays West Coast. You're probably going to get a very nice score, but he's got a bye. So I think just wait till after his bye. Yes, we have to pay over 600 for him. Yes, it's going to be hard to get in, but it literally is what it is. We can't do anything about it. Roberts, McKercher, Sanders, all good games from them. Very happy to have all three of them on field. So we're going to swing Sanders down. Actually, no, I'll keep it like this for now while we go through the team. Gawn, unbelievable game, 177, just dominated all around the ground. This is the sort of game I thought he'd have last week, but Reeves was really good on him. I think I'll VC him this week. Yeah, just great form. But this is the Gawn I expected at the end of the day. It's not too surprising, but it's nice to have that validation for a couple of your picks that you expected to go nuts, and I think he'll get to 700 pretty quick. So if you don't have him, I don't know, you're going to have to get him pretty freaking quickly. But then again, he has a bye coming up soon, so maybe you just fade altogether. I don't know, the risky fade. And then Grundy 114 is a solid game from him. Didn't catch this game, but I need bits of it. But yeah, happy with that. Against a pretty respectable ruckman in Nankervis, so and a bigger ground. So that's something we weren't too sure was going to happen, but it did, and I'm happy about it. Carroll on the bench and Clark, very solid scores from them. Both in the negative 30 break even, so got a bit of money to make. Carroll, I'm not sure how long his job security is going to last. Definitely a sub risk, especially when Walsh comes back. That's if he's in the team, but I think he'll be dropped, to be honest. I just think there's not enough room for him in there. Obviously, we need to bring back Sam Walsh. Alright, moving on to the forward line. Fisher, this was a frustrating game. He was just fades in and out of the game. Break even at 47, so look, we expect him to hit it. I think I'm going to hold one more week. And I know it's crazy. You might be saying, oh, I'm beating a dead bush here, or whatever the fuck the saying is. I just think, yeah, look, Zach Fisher, he's got a great role, and I've been saying it for weeks. That game, I don't know really what happened, to be honest. He should have scored more. I thought he played alright, to be honest, but Supercoach did not agree with that. And yeah, I think at this point, I think I said in my stream last night, if you guys want to hear more in-depth analysis on some players, go watch the stream, or listen to the stream, chuck it on in your car, AirPods or whatnot. I went over why I think trading someone like Fisher is kind of a bad idea. It's because there's not really any good forwards. I'm not willing to trust someone like Harry Mackay, or any key forward for that matter, so Max King, Hogan, Mackay. I don't trust them as long-term scorers, and I don't particularly trust Fisher, but I don't really think you can justify a trade for it. Fisher's clearly got a better scoring role than those guys. It's just that he hasn't scored much, and the Everton is 73. So look, if there was a clear someone like Flanders and I didn't have Flanders, I would 100% trade Fisher for Flanders, and that's what I'll probably do with Heaney next week, or like after his bye. But at this point, I just think there's no point. Like, there's no point in trading him for someone I don't want in my final team. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. Tom Pound, on the other hand, I do want in my final team. I think he'll be a top 6 forward, provided no one else gets DPP. 92 against a pretty tough midfield in Carlton. Yeah, he was good. He was okay. Kicked a nice goal there, intercept, so that was probably fucking 30 odd points in itself. But yeah, Tom Powell averaging 105, very solid, going to make a lot of money. He's already made a fair bit, still got a -6 break even, probably go up 40, 50k this week, so got to be happy if you jumped on him. James Jordan, look, I think you could potentially get rid of him this week. I have thought about it. Getting rid of Jordan lets me get Tom Green. Getting rid of Harley Reid lets me get Jack Steele. And I think I'm going to lean towards the Steele pick. Only because matchup wise this week, so you got Jordan against West Coast. I think like the 12th highest scorer for that Bulldogs game on the Bulldogs team was like a 90. And the 12th highest scorer on the West Coast team was like a 40. So my point is a lot of players are going to score well against West Coast. Just because they're going to get dominated, so like pretty much everyone on the team gets involved. So I think Jordan has a 90 potential, maybe even bigger, and that would be really nice to have on the field. And he's going to be on my field, so I think I'll keep Jordan one more week, flip him at the bye, and also Jack Steele has a nice matchup against Richmond. We know what Butters did to them. We know what who played him last week, Heaney did to them. Both freaks. Freak players, so obviously they're going to do that to pretty much most teams, but I do think Richmond have a pretty weak midfield and hopefully a lot of tackles for Steele this week. So yeah, I could be cursing him. We know, I mean, anyone that's been following the channel for a little while knows how fucking unlucky I am with Steele. If you want a little rundown, I started him in 2021, started him in 2022, 21, 22, 23. I think I've started him every year and he's just been so mediocre. And had injuries and whatnot. And then like last year I brought him in, brought him out. It was just a nightmare. So hopefully we just bring him in once and he's going to be a top 8 keeper. I'm going to have to worry about it. He's a nice VCC option. I thought about seeing him this week, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, so I don't think I'll be trading Jordan. It's back to what I'm getting at. Because I think against West Coast, he's got one more big score in him. And, you know, if he goes massive, like 120, 130, we might even be able to hold him through the bye. That's something I'm not too sure about doing personally because I think we're going to need his cash to upgrade, but we'll wait and see. Fife's an awkward one because 69, I just don't know. Break-even's getting closer to his average, so he's one that we have to wait and see, but similar to Fisher, I don't know who else to go to. Sam Darcy's one I'm going to bring in, but I think I'm going to bring him in for Harley Reid. I just think Harley Reid is not the Supercoach scorer we thought he might be. And then Darcy Wilson 25, so that hurts a bit. But that's it for the team for round 3. Let's get into how we're going to structure up for round 4. So Flanders goes back into the forward line, obviously. And then, yeah, so Harley Reid I'm pretty keen on binning. I've got a bit of money to play with, so Sam Darcy I think is non-negotiable, but barring he doesn't get dropped. Otherwise we might have to go like Harvey Thomas or McGuinness, which I'm not too keen on. But Darcy, minus 92 break-even is ridiculous. If he scores 42, he makes 60k. Couldn't even imagine what he'll go up if he scores 100, probably like 80k, 90k. So, yeah, Sam Darcy will be in my team. I think Lob's going to play reserves for the rest of the year. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. And then I think Wines has to go. Just an awkward slot in that midfield, and we'll look at someone. Like, look, I'm not too keen on getting rid of Wines, I'm not going to lie. But when I can grab someone like Jack Steele, who's averaging, nearly 30 more points than him, 25 more points than him, and is a captain option, and is only, about 60k or 80k more expensive, I think that's a pretty good option. And I think, if Steele keeps going at the rate he's going, he's going to get to 650 pretty quickly. And that's going to be out of my reach, which I don't like the idea of that. We obviously need to bring in Heaney, but not for this week. And then I think we'll go Howes out and we'll grab... I thought about Whitfield, and I was pretty keen on Whitfield in my stream last night, but the more I looked at it, Isaac Cummings still to come back. Whitfield's getting a shit ton of kick-ins, and that's leading to his high scores. So when Cumming comes back, not only does he lose a bit of that defensive points by just naturally, he also loses kick-ins, and I don't think he can go at the rate he's going without those boosted kick-ins. So that's why I've got rid of him. God, my voice is so weird today. Yeah, so that's why I got rid of him, and going with a safer option in Luke Ryan, who just has so much ball down there. Now that Hayden Young's moved to the midfield, I think that's what's caused his scoring jump, personally. So yeah, he's getting all the kick-ins. He's just taking the absolute piss, and he's playing loose. So he's got so many avenues to score, and yeah, ultimate pig cheeser role, and I love it. So let's see how the team looks. I think these are 3 great trades personally. Obviously, I had a lot of money to play with, so that helps. But 29k going to next week, it's not amazing, but the team's starting to look nice. Nick Martin, we're going to swing to the back line eventually, obviously. Hopefully swing Sanders to the forward line. I think he's on track for forward status. So that would be nice to slot in at F6 for a while. I don't think there's any reason to trade him at this point. And then, yeah, next week, not too sure what I can do. It might be Fisher and Jordan. To someone like Fisher, Jordan, and maybe D'Ambrosio or Zach Williams to like Tom Stewart and a couple of rookies. Maybe. We'll wait and see. But just going to try and upgrade every single week from here on out because need to play catch up, or I'm playing catch up. Ranking, I don't know if I went through my ranking, it's 33,000. It's definitely the worst it's been at this point of the season ever. But I'm not worried. I think I'm only 500 points off first. I know I can make that up. Whether I will or not is a different story, but I know it's possible. So I still have plenty of hope for my team. And yeah, just need a couple of players to start performing. Like Yo's need to go at 100. D'Ambrosio, if he gives me a nice ton again, that'd be nice. And as long as my midfield stays consistent, hopefully Bond doesn't lose CBAs this week. And he just needed a bit of a rest. Look, it's pretty early in the season to need a rest, but obviously if he has an ankle concern, I get that. Otherwise, he's one we might have to look at trading. Break even pretty high of 158. But someone you definitely don't want to trade if you can avoid it. Needing Tom Green. So Tom Green's one I want probably get in for Roberts and McKercher when they finish making money, which is still going to be a while. And look, we might have to pay 700 for him, which is just absurd. Hoping he gets a tag in the coming weeks, or just has a down game, which is definitely possible. But yeah, Jack Steele, the only one in that midfield that's really scoring at this point. And I think no Brad Crouch has really helped him. And I think obviously being fit, he looks like a completely different player now that supposedly has no injury concern. Will I curse him? Possibly. I'm sorry if I do, but I'm bringing him in. 15% of teams. He's somewhat potty. Anyway, guys, BCC this week. Let's have a look. I think Gone. So Gone early. So on the Thursday night. Into, I think Luke Ryan against Carlton. There's going to be plenty of ball down there. I don't know if he'll man up, so I'm going to keep an eye on who they name. I think they play Pearce and Draper. So they'll probably take Kerno and Mackay. And then Luke Ryan will play that spare. So I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be fine as a captain option. And if we look at last year, Luke Ryan went nuts against Carlton. 168 in round 17 last year at Optus Stadium. So would love a nice score like that, Lukey boy. Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. Please drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.